Moving on to our Sunday night spectacular. This is a mansion fire game. Tyreek Hill's mansion caught on fire. I guess his kid got a little bit tricky with a lighter and lit his house on fire. So that's cool. No one was hurt. Just a lot of things burnt up. And this is unprecedented. I don't think we've ever had a mansion fire game in the NFL. Tua has proven to the NFL that jiu-jitsu training is the key to success if you are a starting quarterback in the NFL. He got that training in the offseason. He learned how to fall. He stayed healthy, just like one of us predicted on our bold prediction segments earlier this season. He is on the injury report, but I fully expect him to play this one. The Bills are win and in, lose, and they still have a pretty darn good shot of making it into the playoffs. But they'll know that because this is the last game being played. They might know that they have the playoffs locked up, and they may decide to sit people short notice if that does in fact happen, or sit Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and the boys after the first quarter or whatever, keeping them a little bit fresh going into the playoffs. This line also, I would love to hear what the script writers are thinking for this one. Doesn't make sense to me, even if the starters play, because I think the Dolphins are well within the realm of the Bills. I realize the Dolphins have had trouble with good football teams, but I don't know if the Bills are like in that upper tier of good football teams that the Dolphins tend to struggle with. We've seen them beat up teams in that tier. In my opinion, I expect the Dolphins to be highly motivated for this one and come out and beat the Bills. So give me the Dolphins plus 2.5. Give me the Dolphins money line. Sorry about it. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I went to Miami last week, was there, took a lot of money from that Hard Rock Casino. I'm sorry, Hard Rock Casino. I'm sure you make a lot of money from other people. But probably was the only person who bet a lot of money on the Ravens money line. Walked away with cool 225 in that casino, and then put it all back on the cash machine and doubled that up. And I was surprised security wasn't swarming me saying, "Hey, sir, you can't be here anymore. You're taking too much of our money." So sorry, Seminole Tribe. I totally agree with you. I mean, the Miami Dolphins here is just a no-brainer. You're going to give me plus money on the Dolphins against the Bills? I mean, come on, easy peasy. Give me that. Give me that. I'm hammering that. That's a multi-unit play for me for sure.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's a super bet of the year for Mr. James.
Yeah, and it's a lock. Throw 100 units on it. Find a loan shark. Get that money from him. Put it in here and give it right back.
It's easy peasy. Give us the Dolphins. Ryan, what are you taking?
I don't think the Bills are going to sit anybody. I think that they're going to keep going. I think Joe Brady is going to keep that offense going. And the Dolphins, it's not good football teams. I think the Dolphins struggle. I think Dolphins struggle with physical football teams that just constantly are up in their grill. And the Bills beat them handily last time. Mm-hmm. And that, and they had all their weapons. I don't see the Dolphins winning this with that against that level of physicality. They just don't seem to match up with that. They tend to just kind of lay down. They gave up big leads to both Buffalo and Baltimore. It just seems like for some reason they maybe learning how to fall down teaches you lay down when you get hurt. Like it just feels like that self-defense class where like the guy giving the example just kind of lays down when any kind of force is put on the wrist. I just don't feel like this Miami Dolphins team plays with a physical, and they've lost some of their defense with Bradley Chubb, and I just think that they're going to really struggle. And I think Buffalo is going to keep that mojo going because it's once you get in, it's who's hot. And I think if the Buffalo Bills can come in there on a hot streak, that's going to make every other AFC team a little nervous outside of Baltimore about facing this franchise.
Yep, I agree. I think the winner of this game is going to be making a lot of teams nervous, or at least one team nervous come playoff time. This has been What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him. You can follow me at JAMJKS on X. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment if you've been following us all season. We will be making gambling predictions for the playoffs, so stay tuned for that, and we will be doing a live stream watch party of the Bills and the Dolphins game. So we're going to have a good time doing that as well. NFL insider, not a public figure, James, thank you for joining us as always, buddy. What do you have to say to the audience?
Well, there is a Monday night football game occurring. It's just not a professional football game. I am taking Washington in that game. My University of Alabama Crimson Tide lost. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines. They did outplay us. We did lose that game, unfortunately. But the way Michael Penix is playing, quite frankly, he could be playing about 3 or 4 of the NFL defenses and still probably win that game. So that's my opinion for that game. If you want to bet on college football as well on Monday night.
Yeah, I obviously not a college guy. I'm just now learning of the people who will be drafted in the first round of this upcoming season. And oh boy, Alberta, I was excited to see Mr. Penix over there for Washington. I was like watching, and I'm sure you guys who've been watching college football all season, been watching this Washington team play at like midnight, I'm sure all season, are like, yeah, Jamie, obviously. But I was like, oh, that's an NFL throw. That's an NFL throw.
That
you should have seen him when he was at Indiana. Indiana was when wild. I knew. At Indiana, I was like, my God, if this guy has anybody good around him, he is going to be a stud.
And he is. I'm excited to see
Ohio State to the brink, I think, that year when he was in Indiana.
He did. He was incredible at Indiana. And his year at Indiana, their stadium was under construction for every single year he was at Indiana. It was ridiculous. Every time he turned onto an Indiana home game, they were still doing construction on half of the stadium. That poor guy had to deal not only with greater opposing defenses than his offensive line, but also had to deal with the noise of the cranes going on while he was playing his games. It's fantastic if you ever want to look it up.
Well, he's bringing all the money into the program, and so they gotta launder it somewhere, I guess. So it kind of makes sense. Ryan Perrio at Ryan Perrio on all social media platforms. Thank you for joining us as well. Are you busy on Sunday?
On Sunday I am not.
Okay. So sounds like there's a pretty good chance that Ryan Perrio will be joining us for the live stream watch party on Sunday night, Dolphins versus the Bills. And hopefully you are right that the game is close and the Bills play their starters at least most of the game, or it could get a little bit funny. Thank you for joining us as always. What do you have to tell the audience?
I will make a bold prediction that Michael Penix will be the number 2 quarterback taken in the draft. He'll usurp Drake May with some of those throws. He might be the first quarterback taken if he has like a strong combine and private workout, because
I think so,
that throw at the end of the game where he literally put it in Roma Dunze's, that was the throw that Bryce Young made last year in that his bowl game that made him, the unanimous number 1 pick. I could see him doing that because you don't see a lot of good Caleb Williams tape this year. I think it's one of those things where you waited a year too late and some of your warts kind of got exposed.
Yeah.
So I could look for Penix to be the number 1 quarterback taken, or at least no less than number 2. That's my bold prediction. I will be at the Addison Improv Tuesday night. Come out and see that. Tickets are still available at improvtx.com. I'll also be at the Hyenas Red Room on Friday night, or Saturday rather, watching the game and performing on the Red Room show with Devin Clark, BJ Kramer, and a host of other great comics.
It's going to be a good show. Both good shows in some great venues. Thank you, Mr. Ryan, for being on as always. This has been What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. Thank you, and good night.